Welcome to the official interview and announcement of the Entrepreneur X Factor winners 2021. With us here, we have Mike Handcock, the owner and founder of Entrepreneur X Factor, the brand, as well as Young Entrepreneur X Factor, the brand. He's also the chairman of Circle of Excellence Group, which is an umbrella of international businesses consisting of 5 companies underneath it. Now, I see a notepad there in your hand.
I do have a notepad. This is Landi Jack, and Landi Jack is the Global Director of Worldwide Business Intelligence and a past Entrepreneur X Factor winner.
Now, I know the participants, family, friends, colleagues, all those who voted are listening to this video today. And I have to tell you, I share in the excitement, I share in the whole feeling of what is happening and what's going on and what if I win. So we want to wish our best of luck to all of you and say that it doesn't matter what you did, if you got votes in, if you prepared, if you had to put slides together, you know what, you showed up, and that means everything. That is already making you a winner. But as we know, there can only be one winner. And before we're going to get into that, there is a few questions that I want to ask you about the brand and about your experiences. Now, my first question is, you have literally been around the world with this brand and have seen many people from many countries participating. What has been your experiences, your most positive experiences with this competition this year?
This year?
This year.
Okay. So Entrepreneur X Factor has been going since 2012. And Landi is right. We have been around the world many times with this brand, and it's really launched a lot of people. But this year, phenomenally for me, is I think the quality of the presentations from the finalists. When we got into the video presentations, the quality was very high. Of course, we've had a lot more people come online since COVID as well, so they're getting used to using this type of medium. But a lot of people used to talking to camera, so a lot of people used to standing around like this and talking. So we had those type of presentations, but we had also like full-blown infomercials. And one in particular that I want to mention that I thought was just a really fantastic effort was from Jonathan Keeble. So hi, Jonathan, from the UK, who's shot a multi-location video that finishes with him spinning from his desk right around to the other side of the room, where he comes straight in the camera off his desk on his wheelie chair and basically thanks everybody for watching, which I don't know how many times you shot that to try and get it right, Jonathan, but it was very well done. So the quality of people's videos were great. A lot of businesses had gone back to really helping the world more socially at the moment. So I saw a lot more socialization in this. People really wanting to do something good for the planet sort of stood out this year.
Right, that's interesting. Now, I know that when I had to be a participant in this competition, and it was a little bit of a while ago when I was in there.
8 years?
8 years ago. You know, technology was already there, but it was for me at that stage quite new that someone would require of me to use my phone for a camera, and I remember the nervousness around it. And this time people seemed so natural with the different interactions and mediums that they used. Is there any comments on that? Something that stood out for you, or a natural progression, or maybe even a going backwards that you've seen in terms of using technology 8 years ago, for example, and now?
No, I think it's a great thing. I think, you know, back when your video came in along with the others that year, there was there was one video that stood out to me that year. They didn't win, but they certainly were a finalist, who had like a full film crew put together, like a proper video. But most of the other videos were pretty much, you know, two camera type of videos. But these days I just see so many people just so much more relaxed in front of a camera. And this is such a great way to communicate, because of course now, you know, if we go back then to 8 years ago, you were an exception, but most people's clients were literally within the 5 kilometers around where they lived. These days, most people's clients can be anywhere in the world. So I think that's a huge change and a huge opportunity for particularly those people that live in countries that are not using US dollar, India, South Africa, Bangladesh, Romania, to actually get clients in countries that are using US dollar, and then increase your own standard of living.
And also on top of that, the message here is it doesn't matter where you live, you can access the world with a mobile phone. You can become familiar with how you show up on video, and with that you can actually access the globe. And that's really exciting. I think, in the past year and a half, it's become even more exciting to see what is possible with technology. Now, you've worked with many, many entrepreneurs. You've worked with many leaders. What is the typical mistakes that you've seen entrepreneurs make during this competition that you see them make when you provide them with guidance and counsel in your day-to-day living?
I think there's probably three things I'll mention. The first one is apathy. So, we had over 450 entrants to the competition. We chose 10% of those to go and be in the final. And so that's over 40 people. Not all of the 40 actually did the work. So it's unbelievable to me that you wouldn't do the work once you'd entered and you've been chosen as a finalist. So I'm pretty sure that'll be showing up elsewhere in their life as well, that things won't be happening. Whereas if I take you, for instance, and I don't know if you remember this, but you were a person who, when you became a finalist, I can't remember how many newspaper articles were about you, magazines, podcasts, etc., because you used that and you got out there and you told the story. And, you didn't have a big network, but I think at that stage you got over a couple of thousand votes.
Well, I think it's not what you know, it's who you know, and I think he's a little bit biased.
Not at all.
Now, here's my next question.
I am these days, but I wasn't back then.
Now, here's my question for you, and I think you've told many people this story before, whether it's at a wine or dine experience or with friends or colleagues, whatever. Why did you start this brand?
I was literally sitting on a couch, not this couch, this is Landi's couch, but I was literally sitting on the couch watching the show X Factor on television. And I thought, I wonder if there's an Entrepreneur X Factor. And so I quickly went to Google, thinking, of course, somebody's going to have this. And I couldn't find anything on Google to it. So I thought, well, surely somebody must have the .com. So I went to, GoDaddy, and, $19.95 later, I was the proud owner of EntrepreneurXFactor.com. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. That was in February 2012. By the end of May 2012, we had run live Entrepreneur X Factor events in 13 different countries, starting in Auckland, New Zealand, and finishing in Oslo in Norway. And then in the next year, it went to 26 countries and so on and so forth. And then obviously it had to go online because these days with COVID, you can't travel. But before that, there's no way I could go to 100 countries a year, even if I wanted to. So, Entrepreneur X Factor has created some magical things for people. It's given people confidence. It's showcased their business, even if it's only to their own existing clients. It's allowed people to get into the Entrepreneur X Factor books that we've produced. And, been lots of highly successful, international award-winning entrepreneurs have been through the Entrepreneur X Factor process. So apathy was the first thing that I noticed, which is a problem. Number two is probably the biggest problem, and that is lack of clarity. So, when we got the brief from everybody, so the way the competition worked for those of you that voted and still watching is that, people had to fill in forms and they actually entered a competition. Then the judges selected the top 10% of those, okay, which then those top 10% then had to put in a video where they were asked to, in their video, to really go through a number of different things. So they had to show us passion. I'm using my cheat notes here. They had to show us passion. They had to show us clarity. They had to show vision, proof of concept, and also we had to see potential in this thing. And yet, some of the people, we watched the videos and we went, is this the same business that they actually entered? Because it's totally different. Or I thought it did this, but they're actually saying it did that. So we're confused. How can you have any X factor? How can we be attracted to you if we're confused? So lack of clarity is the second thing.
And the third?
Oh, you want the third? I thought you were going to make a comment about that. The third one was lack of influence. So I'm going to tell you this for the record. The judges' top score, the people that the judges chose. Now, the judges got 100 points each to give. And the top score from the judges was 390 points. That was the top score that the judges gave. That person did not even get into the top 5 finalists because they were unable to influence people to vote for them. Now we had a cutoff on votes. You could only get 500 votes. Numerous people got more than 500 votes, so that's fantastic. And thank you everybody who voted for your favorite entrepreneur. But if they weren't able to rally their tribe, if they weren't able to create a movement, if they weren't able to force what they were doing forward, then they weren't going to win. It was very unlikely. And the winner, in fact, is somebody who did get the 500 votes, as well as getting a very, very high rating from the judges. Where is he now? He's at 387 or something, 357. He had points from the judges, so it was a high rating from the judges. But actually what carried the day was his ability to influence the tribe. He was 2 points ahead of the person who came second. So when you look at your business, when you look at your idea, anything that you want to do in your life, it's a combination of your passion for it that attracts people. It's a combination of the fact that it's actually a good idea and not a stupid idea. That goes without saying. But it's a combination of how clear you are at articulating that idea so that the marketplace can understand the idea. But it's also how much you shake the tree, how much you're able to rally people, how much you're able to get people behind your ideas. I mean, if you look at the truly great entrepreneurs, the people who are household names, all of them have been able to rally people. I mean, if you look at Richard Branson, for instance, and he's a household name, I mean, I doubt Richard Branson's got the ability to run hardly any of his companies, but he was able to rally people through his personality of being Richard Branson to leave their jobs and get in behind him. In Malaysia, Tony Fernandez was the same. He bought AirAsia for 1 ringgit, which is about 25 cents US, and he didn't have any background in the airline industry, and he created AirAsia. I mean, these are entrepreneurs who can bring people, who have that X factor inside them, who believe enough in themselves not to get out there and self-promote. That's not what it's about, but to attract people and hold them. And this competition was very much about that.
Right, so who was your funniest person? I know you have your list, he has his list there on his side. If you can quickly look over that, who really put a smile on your face and made you laugh because they're funny?
Well, actually, I liked, there was a few of them, but the one that stood out to me was Jonathan and his business partner. Sorry to you, I can't remember your name. I didn't write it down. So, but Jonathan put the entry in, so he was who I was focused on. So Jonathan Keeble, I just think it was just amusing. It was light. It was, it's a serious topic. It's talent management, human resources, and all of that sort of stuff, and occupational safety and health and everything like that. But you kept it light. You kept us engaged by your multi-location. So I found that very entertaining. What about you?
Next question for you.
Yeah.
Who was the person who really touched your heart? You were like, this is real purpose. This is something that has the ability or the potential to touch many lives.
There was a few of them. The first one that comes to mind is a guy from India called Sandeep Nath. He's got an extraordinary movement. You want to go and check it out online. But, you know, I just think the way his passion comes through and he talks about his movement was fantastic. And the other one for me was Gustav Creel. Gustav has this medical facility which is container-based, which can be sent to any disaster area around the planet, that has operating surgeries, pharmacies, daycare. I mean, it's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal.
And last question around that, who's the person that stood out for you that you thought analytically and strategically they really thought the business through? They actually took the judge or the voter to all the angles of exactly how this is going to work. Not only strategically, but also practically, making people understand that this is an entrepreneur that's really thought the business through.
Look, I'd have to say Gustav, again, you get my vote there, but I also like Brad as well. So Brad was a phenomenal person there of doing that, definitely, but there were some good ones. Beryl has a series of horse products, for instance, and, you know, animal products, probably not tested on humans, but should be. And, you know, I really thought that was a very solid business with a great international potential. And I think you're doing it very well already. And you're at the precipice of something big if you keep going with it.
Now, we know that the winner of Entrepreneur X Factor is listening to this video and all waiting in anticipation. What can the winner of Entrepreneur X Factor look forward to?
Well, firstly, they can look forward to a personal message from us. We're going to reach out to you. We're going to onboard you. You're going to be working with us one-on-one over the next 12 months. You're going to be working with our international communities. We're going to introduce you to people, and we're going to get deep inside what you're doing and help you to make this an incredible business. And if I use an example of that, would be you know, somebody like Richard Hardiman's business that, you know, you've seen on the website there, but truly a fantastic individual who now is in second tier funding for simply an idea he brought to Entrepreneur X Factor many years ago, moved countries to be with it, and won a global award for the environment as well. So you can expect lots of things. So I think it's going to be fun.
One of the things that really excited me with the competition was being featured in the Entrepreneur X Factor book.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say about that?
The winner is going to write the foreword for the next Entrepreneur X Factor book. The first one was launched in around about 2015, if I remember. And that was the one that Landi was in. And that was an international bestseller and was nominated as Business Book of the Year in New Zealand, because that's where it was launched. It was represented at all the book fairs around the world. Frankfurt, Mexico, Taiwan are the three biggest, and London, the other big one as well. And so definitely this person will be not in version 2 of the book, because that was launched in 2020. That went to Amazon #1 in 3 categories on day 1. But when we do the 3rd edition of the book, which will probably be in 2022, this is going to feature the winner of Entrepreneur X Factor. They'll be writing the foreword, and also in Lead magazine, there will be a full 4-page feature article done in the next Lead magazine. Actually, the one after the next one. The next one comes out in a couple of weeks. We can't possibly make the timelines. The magazine after that, and that goes all around the world. So they're going to be showcased in that magazine as well. So congratulations to them.
So for those of you who's watching this video and you may be interested in participating in the next Entrepreneur X Factor, make sure to visit the website www.entrepreneurxfactor.com. Any final messages for the rest who's not the winner, in terms of how, you know, any opportunities can come from this, and why we're so incredibly proud that you actually made the effort and showed up for the competition?
We're going to reach out to each and every single one of you, and you've all got some prizes. So one of the biggest things I think that you can really get involved in and make sure that you're available for and everything is to have that one-on-one session that we promised all finalists with either Landi or with myself. We've been able to help thousands of entrepreneurs through one-on-one sessions over the years in just an hour, get real clarity in understanding what the next step is in their business, in seeing where some of their blind spots are, and occasionally actually showing them some of the hidden potential they even never believed was in their business. And how can we do this? Because we do business in, over 50 countries that we've personally been in and worked with clients in the last number of years. We've got over 300,000 clients around the world. So we understand a thing or two about business. So look out for that. And secondly, for those of you that didn't win, make sure that you get on board with the Octopus EdTech platform and join our weekly live webinars where you can interact with the hosts, where you can ask questions. I was the guest on today's webinar. It happened this morning, and I can tell you that, we had a phenomenal group of people on there, and they asked really good questions when I was actually dissecting how a speaker speaks and how they actually build their keynotes. We have lots of different topics. Next week, we have a social entrepreneur from London, and we're going to talk about how he built a for-profit business based on social entrepreneurship.
As long as you're not dissecting the octopus.
No, we're not dissecting the octopus. We dare not do that.
So with no further ado, I think the time has come for us to announce the winner of Entrepreneur X Factor. How do you want to do this? Are you going to do runner-ups, or are you just
Well, I'll get you to do a drum roll. I am going to do the 4 runner-ups. That's why I've got my list in front of me here. So 4 runner-ups. Let's make sure I get this right.
Tell me when you're ready for the drum roll.
Yes, I will tell you when I'm ready for the drum roll. There's no doubt about that, because the 4 runner-ups are pretty important people, that's for sure. And we want to make sure that we acknowledge each and every one of them, okay? Because they deserve to be acknowledged. Yep. So, the 4th runner-up, that microphone's going crazy there, so maybe drum roll on your knee. The 4th runner-up was Dr. Kevin Lenton. So Kevin, well done. You really rallied your tribe. You almost reached the maximum number of votes, but it actually wouldn't have got you to first place. But you've got a fantastic concept. I mean, you can look at this and say, out of 450 entries, I was number 5 in the world. So congratulations,
Kevin.
Really, really well done. Then, 3rd runner-up, I actually thought you may take the cake, but your tribe let you down. Gustav Creel. So
congratulations, Gustav.
The man who's building these wonderful medical centers all around the world. So, and doing it for disaster relief. Gustav, well done. Fantastic. Oh, you've given your drum roll. Okay.
No, here comes the 3rd one.
Okay, so yesterday this person was running 2nd, but today somebody slipped ahead of them. So in 3rd place is the owner of a business called, do we drum roll? Oh, we've got the drum roll. Owner of a business called The Word Architect, and her name is Lisa Bell. So congratulations, Lisa.
Congratulations, Lisa.
You are the 3rd best Entrepreneur X Factor in the world in 2021. So now we come to the top 2. Now, number 2 was a really interesting individual, and somebody I'm really looking forward to doing my interview with and getting to understand this person, because we have a synergy between us that was evident once I really dug into what they're doing. This person has a deep understanding of music, and they utilize that to shift state. Their name is Brad Cunningham, and Brad, congratulations, you are the runner-up in Entrepreneur X Factor.
Congratulations, Brad.
Globally.
And now for the finals.
Firstly, let me tell you why this person won, right?
I'm so excited.
Let me tell you why this person won. Firstly, you brought your tribe. And actually, even though we capped the votes at 500, you had a lot more than 500. So well done. It's obviously that you've got a good tribe, and that showed up in the proof of concept of what you're doing. You weren't the highest rated by the judges necessarily, but you were very, very, very near the top. So your tribe carried the day. And if I had to say this, 4 out of the 5 judges rated you really highly, we've got one judge we're going to have to knock on the door and say, why didn't you rate him as highly as the rest of us did? By the way, it's not either of us. We both rated you exceptionally highly as well.
But that's how it works. We see it over and over again. It's many times the entrepreneur that steals the show or win the competition or get the deal that's resourceful and has the ability to really make the sum total of things work for them, whether it is having the technology combined with the favor of the judges, combined with the favor of the people. And it's all those sub areas that really make up the big area and then makes up Entrepreneur X Factor. And how many people have asked you, what exactly is it to have Entrepreneur X Factor? And that definition just changes every single year for us. So with no further ado, the winner of Entrepreneur X Factor 2021 is
an IT company. There's many IT people that put in, run by a wonderful person whose video was so well structured, so much clarity, such great proof, and somebody who really obviously has huge potential for what they're doing. And welcome to our company, welcome to Circle of Excellence. We're going to be excited to work with you. Gavin Lund. Gavin Lund is the winner of Entrepreneur X Factor 2021. A fantastic entry and a great job. You did a fantastic job throughout the whole competition, very communicative as well. We're excited to work with you. We're excited to help you. We're excited to introduce you. And thank you to every single person who came on board and who entered this competition.
Gavin, we will be able to already feature you and announce you as the official winner of Entrepreneur X Factor in this year's Lead magazine that will be out on the 14th of September. So we'll be in touch with you to get some more details. Congratulations. And congratulations to every single person who showed up. And very well competition.
Yeah, no, it was a great competition. We had such fun this year. The judges had fun. And I want to thank our judges personally. I want to thank Dr. Akhil Shahani, who won Educator of the Year in India this year. Stuart Patton, who is an ed tech platform expert from England originally, but through Scandinavia and now based out of Asia. I want to thank he's not a doctor actually, but he should be. I want to thank Nick Nanton.
Should be a doctor.
27 Emmy Awards behind his name, a number of Grammys, as well as being a lawyer, but we won't hold that against you, Nick. I want to thank Landi Jack, Global Director of Worldwide Business Intelligence and a past winner of Entrepreneur X Factor herself. And I guess I should thank everybody associated with it for all the assistance that helped us with the votes and the people, our designers and everybody who's helped us along the way. Thank you so, so much. And I want to mention one other thing, and that is also at this time has been running Young Entrepreneur X Factor. And I want to thank Meng and I want to thank Jacqueline in Malaysia who have been running this competition. Our winner is going to be announced shortly for that.
And then a big thank you to you, Mr. Mike Handcock, for bringing the brand Entrepreneur X Factor to the world to give people a chance to showcase themselves. Thank you very much. Your vision is inspiring.
Thank you, everyone, and we will see you all later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.